All right, let's show you the general partnership split allocation responsibility spreadsheet. Now look, realistically, you're not going to be using this until you get to bigger deals because maybe you have one other partner in the deal, that's fine. And what I'm talking about is at the general partnership level where you guys are the head honchos running the deal. This is how you avoid infighting within your partnership, okay? Limited partners are separate. Those are your investors. Passive investors, this has nothing to do with them. This is at the general partnership level. If you had multiple partners in that partnership as the general partner running the deal, this is how you would split up responsibilities. So that way everybody knows what they're doing and everybody knows what they're getting. And there isn't any bitching and complaining about I did this, you did that, this is how people hate each other at the end of the deal. So this is how you avoid that, so it's very, very clean. So we'll allocate a certain amount of percent to each one of these responsibilities that are needed in the deal. First and foremost, you found the deal. You sourced it. You're going to do the transactional management side. It's all there. So you're going to get 5% for finding the deal of the total general partnership side. So you know how deals are typically split up 70-30, 60-40, stuff like that. So let's say it's 30 and or 40%. Okay? 0.3, right, and 0.4. So what we're talking about here is the percentage of that. The percentage of that. So of these 30s and 40s. So that's how it is. You're getting 5% of the 30%, 10% of the 30%, right? You get the point. And these numbers, this is why this really makes sense on big deals, okay? Bigger deals, I should say. But this is how it's all done. And these are typical splits that are pretty standard that you would see. So 30% allocated for capital raising. And if you want to figure out what percentage, because let's say you have multiple people raising money, great. Okay, and say we're raising, let's put it down here at $1.5 million for simple math. Let's say I come in here and I raise $750,000 of that, right? $750,000 of the $1.5 million. Therefore, I'm going to get pretty much 15% or half of that 30%. Right, I'm getting half of that 30, right, which is what that's telling me. So, and if I raised $1.5 million, right, I'm getting all of it. Does that make sense? So this tells me I'm getting all 30%. So that's 100%. Or if it was 250,000, right, I'd be getting 5%, which in this case 5 over 30, what equals boom. That's that divided by that. So technically it's 16.7%. But you get the point. You're getting 5 of the 30. So the way you would allocate that, so let's say we raised 250 grand of the $1.5 million. So then I would come in here and I'd have 5%. And then let's say they raised 750. So they would get they'd get pretty much 15%. Right? So now we got 20% left, and then 10% goes here. So now that adds up, and it's all 30%. You get the point? And that's how you'll do that. So just FYI. You don't need that, and you don't need that. Cool. So that's how you'll allocate it up. Asset management. So you could have 2 people doing asset management, but typically 1, so that money would go here. And let's say you have 2 people on the loan guarantor, so you'd be 10 and 10, 10 and 10, adds 20. And let's say you're boots on the ground. You're doing the project management and boots on the ground. That allocates 10%. You'd have one person for that, so 10% goes there. So that gets you the 100% of that. And you're doing some of the due diligence, doing all the financial due diligence, physical due diligence when you're going and closing on the property and all that stuff. That's very, very important. So that 10% would go here. And that's how you would allocate it all up. So then everybody would know, hey, we still have 25% to go. Oh, I'm missing it here. Risk capital. So let's say that we'll do 5% there and 10% there. Adds up to 15. And we're good there. So that should be, that's 90s. Where am I missing 10% here? I'm missing 10%. 2020, 10, 10, 10, 10. Oh, wait. I'm missing 10% in here. Where am I at? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. So when you add this up, make sure that's adding up correctly then. Yeah. Ah, that's why. I was like, huh? So we need to go up to I4. That's why. Good catch. All right, there we go. So now that's 100% of the general partnership is accounted for. And you see how much you're getting of that. So that way everybody knows. There's no bitching, no complaining, no infighting. And you know exactly what your responsibilities and roles are. And this is why you do it, okay? So if you have more than one person in your general partnership, because you could have two people in it, you could have two companies in it, this is how you would allocate. So I hope this makes sense on this video. Thanks.